so many properties in Europe are with very small chains or independent properties. Does it ever just get so expensive with search and other types of marketing that it's just as well that an OTA books it for them?
Good question. I think we're very successful with search engine marketing. We started 2.5 years ago, and we're seeing each day we're seeing increases. For example, with Google and with Yahoo and MSN, and so we don't see these increases in the OTA world. We see some increases with a few OTAs, but some are quite saturated at the moment and stuck at a higher level, but not growing anymore. But PPC is always growing each day. So if we ever get an agreement with Kayak, for example, we really expect to
we should speak afterwards.
We should really expect to have quite high increases on this channel.
Javier, any sort of best practices you've seen among European small independent chains or small independent properties along this front?
I think the best practice is really to evaluate what is the mix of distribution channels that you want. I think it's every hotel, every chain has a different profile. All depends on the location of the hotels, on the type of rooms, on the different traffic origins. So once you have really defined what you can expect and what are your weapons to fight, then you must decide if you are going to rely on tour operators in a certain percentage, or you are relying on the traditional retailers, multiple retailers, OTAs, or how will be your bid in the direct distributions. And that is really the best practice, which is absolutely absurd, is to say that every hotel should put all the focus on direct distribution through their website, while in most of the cases, because of the location, of the lack of differentiation of that hotel, it will be incredibly expensive to compete to get the needed amount of traffic. On the other hand, might be the right solution is to get rid of these players that are being really so costly, as you were mentioning before, and trying to reduce the weight of the different elements of your distribution. What we always recommend is much better to manage a herd of less ships than to have a lot of agreements. That was one of the traditions that the hoteliers have had for many, many years. So agreements with hundreds of tour operators, with hundreds of OTAs in many markets, and I think that is a great mistake. In the time in which we live, we must look for the right partners in each of the distribution channels. And obviously, our own website, the hotelier's website, should be one of the top clients of the hotel, but not the only one.
Faisal, in thinking about some of the comparisons that are made between meta search and OTAs, you know, your team is minuscule in comparison to the OTAs that you're often competing for that click with. How do you tackle sort of handling the breadth of product that's out there with such a small team, creating new agreements at the pace that you need to compete in the European marketplace?
I think largely you can look at how successful Kayak has been. I'm relatively new, so I can't take any credit for that. But we have an incredibly focused and incredibly experienced team. People who have joined Kayak come from places, you know, some of the OTAs, Expedia, Travelocity, Orbit. So we have a depth of experience, a depth of relationships. We have some incredible people, and we prioritize. Absolutely, there's as you said, we're about 77, 78 people, of which 50 are engineers. So there's less than 30 commercial people in Kayak. But they absolutely prioritize agreements, projects. Everything is measured in terms of how does it contribute to the bottom line, and so that focuses the attention of the commercial guys on who do we partner with, and then we strike, I think, very good deals also. We're very focused on making sure that it's the right deal for the partner as well as for Kayak.
Where would you say you are on the maturity scale? Are you just getting started? Are you just scratching the surface?
Absolutely.
How do you scale up?
We do some things very well. We do search very, very well. But I think Kayak is, we've just started international. International is less than a year old. We're about to start with our new travel post product. We are hiring some great people back in the States to help us with our algorithms. So I think you'll see Kayak start to become slightly more expansive than it has been over the next couple of years, and become even more customer centric.
Are you worried at all about that new sort of competitor we've heard a little bit coming onto the scene called Tripadvisor?
As I said earlier, I think the entrance of Tripadvisor into the meta search market, it's very flattering because essentially it looks like Kayak.
I don't know, it kind of looks different to me.
Well, we think a lot of the functionality is very, very similar. They're lacking some of the tools, but the essential look and feel of that product is very Kayak-y. In terms of whether we're worried or not, in the international markets, the markets that I look after, people haven't yet fully understood what meta search is. It's a very new phenomenon, and people are starting to understand, and I think the economy is helping people to understand the value of meta search. So to the extent that it helps, that the advent of Tripadvisor into our market, I think it's actually going to educate people in terms of what meta search is, and we think a better product, so bring it on.
Ladies and gentlemen, Faisal Galaria, Javier Gonzalez Soria, Tilo Hertwig, and Ray Witter. Thank you.